The idea behind today's presentation was to get one presentation that kind of covers all the bases with what you can do with Facebook and Active Demand. We've recently done similar presentations with Google Ads and Google Analytics and that kind of thing. So this will be focused just on all the stuff you can do with Facebook. I am 2 or 3 coffees deep, so if I talk a little bit too fast or if you want me to come back and focus on another section, just let us know in the questions section on the GoToMeeting on the side there, and we will hop back to it. So without any further ado, this presentation is going to go through a couple things on Facebook. We're going to go through integration setup, scheduling posts, integration with Facebook ads, integration with lead ads, analytics, and we'll be doing a couple of extra things on top of that as well. This presentation is primarily going to be how to deploy it and why, a couple of whys to deploy it, but mostly how and mostly the what you can do in Active Demand. When we talk about what you can do, there's a whole litany of things you can do. We can schedule and post to a Facebook page, so you can build these schedules and send them out centrally right from Active Demand. You can track campaign specifics for contacts in Active Demand. So if someone clicked on a Facebook ad and they went to your website and they filled in a form or they did something interesting, Active Demand can kind of track that along the way. We can see how they got there, and we can see what campaign and ad group and all that good stuff of where they came from inside Facebook, which is also pretty cool. We can add Facebook Pixel to websites and landing pages. We can send Active Demand audience lists to Facebook so that we can use them for audience matching campaigns. We can pull Facebook lead ad form fills right inside Active Demand, so we can use that cool feature that's inside Facebook and pull all those people over to Active Demand. We can post Active Demand landing pages to a Facebook page. And we can pull some Facebook specific reports into Active Demand for dashboards and scheduled email reports and that kind of thing. So a whole lot of stuff that you can do. Now let's talk about kind of how you set that up. Now, for a brand new account, the first thing you'll need to do is go into your account settings, go over to the integrations area, and authenticate an admin user with Facebook. So with your Facebook page, you'll need that user in there and authenticated. And really, this is just step one. This doesn't do very much for us. It just gives us access to a username and an account. After that, you really have to scroll down a little bit further in the page and then get to some of these other things. So here's where we connect the ad account and the Facebook page. You see those on the left there. You can see we can also do a landing page optionally, and we can also connect our Facebook lead ads. It's all kind of in that integration section inside the Active Demand account settings for the account you're setting up. So if I was setting up a new customer account, this would be part of my checklist in getting them rolling, because typically when I do customer accounts, I'm going to be running Google Ads, Facebook ads, that kind of thing, and I want to be able to set those up and have them integrated. So those steps are done. Now what do we got to do? Well, let's actually get into an activity. The first activity we're going to look at is creating Facebook page posts from Active Demand. There's a couple different types that you can do. There's image, there's a share URL, there's status update, and a lot of the ones that we do, we're doing kind of like a title, description, image, that kind of a thing. There's a couple different places you can build these. You can build them in a campaign, onesie twosie. So if you have a campaign for a spring promotion, you can add a Facebook post in there as well. Or you can pre-schedule them in bulk. Now, when you pre-schedule them, that allows you to kind of build like a calendar of posts and have Active Demand post all of those on your behalf in order. So let's look at that style. That one is done using Excel sheets. It's just using a CSV, and this is a really great way of building out a calendar of posts in the future. If you don't have one for yourself or for your clients, this can be a good way of making sure that a Facebook page will have a minimum level of activity. So what I mean by that is we all have best intentions when it comes to our Facebook page. We're going to create only new, timely content, and then we get busy, and then maybe a month goes by or 2 months go by, and oh yeah, we have to post to Facebook. Okay, let's go post a bunch of stuff. You've got all these like big gaps in there. which that matters for different companies for different reasons. I know with some companies, they want to make sure that their social platforms look active because they're hiring people. And one of the steps that people do when they're going to apply to a job is to go take a look at a company's social platforms. So for some companies out there, that's why they need to make sure that they have that activity. For other companies, they do it for leads or for other reasons. Anyways, whatever your reasons are, here's the steps you would need to go through to build those out. So within ActiveDemand, you can download just an example CSV file that will have some of these things in here. And you can see I've got a couple of different URL, description, image URL, that kind of a thing. And then when I upload this file to ActiveDemand, it will allow me to schedule these posts out. So I can have, again, what I was talking about before, that minimum level of activity, very easy to do from within ActiveDemand, and then you can post those out to Facebook. So that's one thing you can do in terms of posting. What about ads and what about ad integration? This is one area that I really need to set up on a lot of client accounts because I'm interested in attribution. I'm interested in knowing what of my marketing is working, and I want to know which campaigns are working really well. So this is a great way to understand that. This detail that we get from the Facebook campaign, this is so that it attaches to the contacts in ActiveDemand. So afterwards, we can say things like, oh, Bob came to our website. He came in from the New Hope display ad inside our Hoff campaign or whatever the case might be. So it gives us some really good detail on how people or what channels or ads are driving leads to our website. There's a couple different things you'll have to do. One of them is setting up your value track parameters inside ActiveDemand. This is also something you have to do for Google anyways, so it's a good idea to set these up. And then you use those inside the Facebook ads and you add on those tracking parameters as well. So again, this is something you'd be doing anyways for Google Analytics, just to get that tracking properly in place for it. So you would also do it for ActiveDemand. It's kind of two birds with one stone. So once you've done that, then you'll be able to see people coming into the website, and you'll be able to see inside, for example, the visit report, visit sources. You'll be able to see where people are coming in off of those, or you'll be able to see it in conversion attribution reports, where you can see people coming in, how they come in, and which source and which ad they came in off of. You'll also be able to see it on the contact itself in the source and medium. So lots of really great places that we can get information on how Facebook ads are driving traffic to our website and driving conversions, which ones are actually driving leads and that kind of a thing. The next thing that we can do with ads, with Facebook ads, is post custom audiences to Facebook. So let's say we're in ActiveDemand, we've got a really nice clean list. Opposite of a clean list would be like a remarketing list that's just everyone to the website. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I do. Whenever I set up a remarketing list, the first people that see my remarketing ad, employees, my coworkers, everyone who works there all see the ad. So a clean list would be one that maybe you have some automation that is determining who gets added to that list. Maybe you've made some very specific queries inside ActiveDemand to get you a real specific list of prospects that you want to target inside Facebook. And the idea here is that we can target those people. We can send that list from ActiveDemand to Facebook for targeting. You can also target based on steps in the buyer's journey. Now, one thing to note when you create these lists, 20 is the bare minimum number of contacts that you can do to make this work. We've found better success with more than that. You typically want a little bit of a buffer room in there for contacts that might not be able to be identified inside Facebook. So you'll want a couple more than 20. But anyway, it's still better than the minimum that Google has. So to integrate and send those lists to Facebook, it's very easy. Inside your contact list, you'll notice on the right-hand side there, publish as a Facebook custom audience. You hit that button for it to publish, and then the next time you log into your Facebook Business Manager, you'll be able to go to your custom audiences, and you'll be able to see a couple of customer lists. You can see I've got one here that I'm showing you, which is a promotion for senior care providers, but there can be other customer lists that you can add in there as well. It makes for a very, very specific targeted list that you can target with ads inside Facebook. The next bit that you can do that we found actually got some really good success from is Facebook lead ads. Facebook lead ads are kind of like a form inside Facebook. And the cool thing here is that it pre-fills in a bunch of the information because whatever Facebook knows, it can pre-fill that in. So if you want to, you can have your Facebook lead ad pre-fill in their name, their email address, that kind of a thing. So that stuff will all be pre-filled in, and then they can add in any other extra information that they need. So the steps to getting those people who fill in those lead ads into active demand are you build the Facebook lead ad form inside Facebook. You build an active demand form that kind of mirrors it, though it's got the same fields and whatnot. Then you connect them, map the fields, and then you can do some fancy stuff in the autoresponder. Not required, but I think it is. I mean, that's the cool part about active demand is that you can do all this fancy stuff with the autoresponder afterwards. So this is just showing what it looks like when you build one of these things inside Facebook. This is showing one of our PDFs that we use as a download that you can get from Facebook. You can see we got some contact information on the right-hand side, name, email, company name, yada, yada, yada. Then we have to go create, and it doesn't have to be fancy because no one's actually going to see the active demand form. We create one that has all the same information that the Facebook form has. And then we map that form out. So you can see on the left-hand side, we've got the Facebook form. On the right-hand side, we've got the active demand form. And then we map out the fields accordingly. Take a coffee break, make sure I'm not talking too quickly here. This is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty quick thing to do. And it basically gets those contacts into active demand when they've filled that form out. Now, one of the things you'll want to do, active demand just sees these forms getting filled out. Oh, cool. Bob Smith from Acme filled out a form. You'll want to make sure that you do something interesting with those people afterwards. So when I say interesting, a couple things you might want to think about. You'll need to set the source medium because, again, those form fills are coming from space as far as active demand's concerned. So you can set the source, you can set the medium, you can tag the contact out appropriately to whatever they did or whatever you want to do. And then you can take action afterwards. One of the things that you could do is post a Slack internally. Hey, someone downloaded this PDF. Maybe we should do something about that. Or you could add them to a nurture campaign. One of the things that we found with lead ads is that we get a high volume of people who fill them out, but the quality is not the best. And maybe they're not quite a sales-ready lead. So if they're not a sales-ready lead and we're not ready to forward them off to sales to process, maybe we put them through a marketing campaign, a nurture campaign. And that's what we have as an example at the bottom there. So it's up to you what you do afterwards, but we'd highly recommend doing some processing with those people afterwards to make it interesting and to use the power of the automation platform, right? The next part that we can do here is landing pages. So you can build a landing page inside ActiveDemand and have that landing page show up as a tab on your Facebook page. Just a couple things to note. This is only available to pages with 2,000 or more followers. So you're not going to see this on like brand new accounts. You're not going to see this on like smaller clients or clients that just haven't been active on Facebook very long. But essentially what it looks like is, okay, build a landing page. Make sure that you've optimized it for Facebook, which is 600 pixels wide typically, and then you can put it inside a new tab inside your Facebook page. So we see there that this Facebook page has a tab called Free Social Account where you can sign up for something. So you can embed a landing page directly on your Facebook page if you have enough followers and whatnot. And then that takes us to reporting. So what can we do to better report on Facebook specifics? Because I mean, we'll have all the other great stuff. We'll be able to do conversion attribution reports, which means we'll be able to see which channels are driving leads and that kind of a thing. But let's look at some Facebook specific things. And really, one of the questions that I have that I'm going to answer in just a minute here. If you do all your ROI reporting in ActiveDemand, why not do the Facebook stuff as well? Last month, our webinar was on scheduled reports, scheduled email reports. And I think that doing those is a very powerful way of getting information out. You might as well just throw the Facebook stuff in there as well, because you can just build those into a scheduled report. So let's first take a look at a couple of standard widgets. We've got some standard widgets here. They talk a little bit about like post performance, page likes, some general, I don't know if you'd call them vanity metrics, but like just basic metrics about the page and that kind of a thing. And then we have some custom widgets that you can create as well. So if you want to create a custom Facebook widget, which I would highly recommend you do, you go into the left-hand side, Analytics, Report Widgets, and then you click that new widget button in the top right. And what that does is open up the widget builder. We're going to select Facebook. And for the example I'm going to show you today, we're going to use the insight source of campaign, and then we're going to choose fields of spend. This is just a very basic spend report, one that you'd have to do on a month-to-month basis, maybe a report spend to your client or report spend to your management team or whatnot. And once this widget's done, make sure you hit publish, and then what you get is a widget that looks something like this. So this is pulled straight from Facebook. We get up-to-date information that we can report on a month-to-month basis, and we can show people what our spend is in Facebook. I might want to put clicks on here. I might want to put something else, maybe conversions, but you get the idea. We can build these in. These can be in dashboards, or they can be in scheduled email reports. I'd highly recommend that you put things like this into scheduled email reports, because this is the kind of information that that a lot of customers out there need. And it saves you some time. You don't have to copy and paste it from Facebook. You can just have it straight come out of Active Demand. So that's pretty much it in terms of what I'd like to show you today. There's a couple of places where you can get more information. You can check out our marketing tips, our blog, where we've got some more information. We've also got the support area, which is engage.activedemand.com. And then we've also got a learning management system where you can get certified on ActiveDemand, and that's at learn.activedemand.com. So we'll take a little bit of time here and wait around for about 5 minutes just to see if we have any questions.
So there is a question there from Bill. If I have a third party that runs ads on their own platform, so we don't have to access the ad account, can we incorporate this into AD?
A third party that runs ads on their own platform, their own Facebook platform. So I'm just going to make some assumptions here. Let's say that third party is running ads on their own Facebook ads account and you don't have access to it. You won't be able to see campaign, ad type, all that kind of stuff unless they encode their links with some of that tracking information. But if they do get that, then you would be able to see, you'll be able to get that kind of stuff inside Active Demand. Let's see, we wouldn't be able to get pixel conversions back up to them unless we have that ad account authorized and integrated inside Active Demand. I'm trying to think of other things that we may or may not be able to get. I mean, you'll still be able to see the traffic and you'll still be able to see that it's coming from Facebook. You just won't be able to get to peer into that black box of what's going on with that traffic.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question. Sandeep has a question here. Do I need to use tracked links inside the Facebook organic posts, or does Active Demand take care of that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't cover that. So when you schedule posts from Active Demand, you can just link to whatever page you want to in your website or whatnot, and Active Demand will automatically encode the links. So we'll do the tracking link bits inside those organic posts so that you can see how many people clicked on the links and what they did afterwards, and they get tracked and all that good stuff. You don't have to go to the Google URL builder and build those as you go along.
Excellent. And yeah, and if anyone else has any more questions, you can post them there. Oh, there's another one there from Michelle. Which Facebook integration features do you use at Active Demand the most?
What if I say like the ones I think they're like the coolest? I think the list putting lists into Facebook is the coolest because you can target people based on their spot in the buying cycle. So if you know that people are let's say they're in the consideration phase, you can start saying, okay, let's send them, let's advertise to them to get them to download a comparison document and compare us versus the competition and show how we beat them. Whereas if they've just purchased, newly purchased customers, then we can give them an ad showing, hey, you might want to check out our LMS, our learning management system, because that's where you can learn more about the platform. So I think that the custom audience retargeting is such a cool way to use Facebook ads to micro target, I guess, like really small audiences. So I'd say that part's really cool. And then just the value track parameters integration bit there, super important, because you need to be able to see when your Facebook campaigns are driving not only just traffic, but leads to your website. And that tracking really helps you identify, this is where I got my leads, and this is the campaign or the ad group or whatever that caused that lead to come through.
All right, excellent.
We also do the scheduled posts and whatnot as well.
We do have another follow-up question there from Bill. Do you suggest using the Facebook lead ad forms or have the ad go to a landing page for conversion? To your point, more leads may come from Facebook lead forms, but it sounds like we need to nurture before going to sales.
Yeah, I mean that comes down to quality versus quantity. Which is always something that we have to figure out inside marketing, is how many leads do we need to send to sales? Typically, when sales start to scream like, "Hey, that's too many. I can't call all these people, and they're junk anyways." Then what you can do is make it a little bit harder for people to fill out the forms, or make sure that they're a little bit more qualified, and make it less easy. So I would say that the Facebook lead ads, those forms are very easy to fill out, and you can't give them like a ton of information. You can't, like, it's not like a landing page or anything like that where you can kind of tighten up how much they're going to know or how much they need to give you. So I'd say that the Facebook lead ads are just a little bit easier to fill out. The quality may be a little bit lower, but it's really up to you on how much volume you want. If you want high volume, Facebook lead ads are better because they're easier to fill out. There's less friction filling out those forms. Whereas sending them to a landing page has a little bit more friction. They have to leave Facebook. They have to go to your website. Now they have to fill some stuff out. So you may get higher quality leads from that landing page, but you'll get lower volume. So you have to decide where you want to move that dial. Do you want higher volume, lower quality, or lower volume, higher quality? And that differs based on where you're at and what your sales team needs.
Yeah, and I think here at Active Demand, we do use a combination of both, and really boils down to is the call to action. How high up in the sales funnel are you targeting is kind of the dial that we use. So
that's a good point, Eric. Yeah, where in the sales funnel are you trying to hit them? Because higher up in the sales funnel, there'll be a higher volume, whereas lower down there'll be higher quality.